Hey guys, welcome back to N.A.A. Ball Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the New York Knicks, as tomorrow, December 11th, Knicks tip off the preseason against the Pistons, playing their first game in 9 months, so I'm excited. We finally have Knicks basketball back. And today I'm just going to touch base on what I predict the depth chart is going to be going into the season versus what I want to see from the depth chart this season. But before we get into all that, I'd like to welcome you all back to N.A.A. Ball Talk. Here I talk about all things basketball. If you love the NBA, I think you'll enjoy this channel. We'll be talking about NBA news, rumors, predictions, all that good stuff. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to become a member of N.A.A. Ball Talk. It goes a long way towards growing the channel. It shows me that you guys enjoy what I'm putting out. It's going to motivate me to put out more content, and I really appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the video. So first, we're going to get into the point guard position, and the person I want to see start at point guard for the Knicks is Dennis Smith Jr. Now, I know a lot of Knicks fans like Frank Ntilikina because of his defense, and they think that he should be the starter, but me personally, I love Frank's defense, but I think he's such a liability on offense that you can't roll with him as your starting point guard. I like Dennis Smith Jr.'s potential. He can jump out of the gym, he can get out, he can push the tempo, and something that Tom Thibodeau was saying a lot during his press conferences coming from training camp is that he's putting the emphasis on pushing the ball up the court, getting in transition, scoring on the fast break. And I think that fits Dennis Smith Jr.'s game perfect. You have another guy in Elfrid Payton on the roster who was the starter for most of the season last year for the Knicks. However, you know what you're going to get with Payton. I don't see Payton in the Knicks' future plans, so I think the best option is to roll with the guy with the most potential, which is Dennis Smith Jr. Since you're not going to contend this year, you need to evaluate the talent on your team and see what this young guy can do. At shooting guard, the Knicks have R.J. Barrett, Austin Rivers, Alec Burks, and Emmanuel Quickly. I think this one's pretty clear. We all want to see R.J. Barrett start. He's the face of the franchise, and I think he's the only person on the team right now that really has a guaranteed starting spot. The person I want to see start at small forward is Kevin Knox. I think he fits what Tom Thibodeau is trying to do with getting out and running in transition. I think that's how you get Kevin Knox to be the most effective. He's another guy to me like Dennis Smith Jr. He's coming off a bad year. He has a lot of potential, though. He's still very young, and it's a make-or-break year for him. If you play him and he's great, then you have a good small forward on your hands. If you play him and he's trash, you get to move him in the offseason or possibly at the trade deadline. You have guys like Alec Burks and Reggie Bullock that could back him up, but I think you definitely got to go with Kevin Knox at the 3. I think at the 4 and the 5, you got to go with Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson. Obi Toppin, your 8th overall pick this year. We were lucky to get him in the draft. He's a great scorer. He's going to come in and average around 16 points a game his rookie year. I think that Randall should be coming off the bench. Give him all his touches in the second unit. He's going to look way better against these backups. Mitchell Robinson, on the other hand, is a young guy who has tremendous potential, great defensively. Maybe you give him the ball a little more on offense this year, see what he can do. He's a guy that was underused, I believe, his past couple years in New York. He really couldn't stay out of foul trouble, so his minutes were forced to be reduced. But I think this is the year he should be a starter in the NBA. With Mitchell Robinson starting and Nerlens Noel coming off the bench for the center spot, as the Knicks, you're going to have 48 minutes of solid rim protection. I just think you go with Mitch to start because he's the younger guy. He's the guy you want to build around. So definitely get him adjusted to being a starter in this league. So that's who I think should start for the Knicks this year. However, the players I think who will be starting for the Knicks this year, I think at point guard they're going to go with Elfrid Payton. You know, I don't really think there was a need to bring him back unless you needed a starting point guard in your opinion. So I think when the Knicks re-signed Elfrid Payton, that was their way of saying this is our starting point guard for this year. I think Dennis Smith Jr. will get backup minutes. I think Dennis Smith Jr. actually will be the 6th man on this team this year. All reports coming out of camp are that the Knicks are very impressed with Dennis Smith Jr. And if they really want to push the pace, I'm almost positive he's the point guard that they're going to run with off for the bench. A big concern for me is where does this leave Frank Ntilikina? Is Ntilikina going to get any minutes at the point? Will he get minutes at the 2? I'm not sure. I think it's up in the air with Frank. At shooting guard, they're definitely going to go with R.J. Barrett. Don't need to explain that one. Now here's where it gets a little dicey. At the 3, I think the Knicks are going to make the mistake of going with Obi Toppin there. Obi Toppin is a natural power forward, but in these press conferences that you've been seeing coming out of training camp, when they asked Obi Toppin about his ability to play the 3, he says he's going to play wherever Thibodeau says he can play. If Thibodeau says he can play the 5, he's going to play the 5. If Thibodeau says he can play the 3, he's going to play the 3. He said he doesn't think that Tom Thibodeau is going to put him in a position to fail. This makes me very concerned because this makes it seem like they've talked about him playing at the 3. And then when they interviewed Julius Randle was talking about how him and Obi Toppin could play on the court together. So that's very concerning to me. I think the Knicks are going to go with Obi Toppin. However, I do think Kevin Knox will get minutes off the bench. He'll probably get somewhere from 20 to 25 minutes, be that 7th man off the bench for the Knicks. And I think that they're going to make this mistake, sadly. At the 4, I think they're going to go with Julius Randle, put him next to Obi Toppin because they're crazy. I don't know, but I think that's the way they're going to go. At the center spot, I think the Knicks are going to go with Mitchell Robinson. He's everything Tom Thibodeau wants in the center. He plays with high energy, plays great defense. And I think that's going to make Tom Thibodeau go with Mitchell Robinson as a starting center. Nerlens Noel is going to be a great backup for him, just like he was a great backup for Steven Adams in Oklahoma City. But I think Tom Thibodeau goes with the right choice in Mitchell Robinson. And just to touch on the second unit again, I think that the second unit will be Dennis Smith Jr. at the point, Austin Rivers at the 2, Alec Burks at the 3, Kevin Knox at the 4, and Nerlens Noel at the 5. I think we'll see a lot more small ball lineups from the Knicks this year because they want to run in transition. I think that Kevin Knox at the 4 could be very productive, but this is ultimately what I think the Knicks will go with to start the season. However, throughout the season, guys like Frank Ntilikina, Emmanuel Quickley, maybe Omari Spellman can get their minutes, get their chance to show what they can do. But to start the season, this looks like the way the Knicks are going. That's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. But I want to know what you think. Who do you want to be starting for the Knicks this year? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to become a member of N.A.A. Ball Talk. I really appreciate all the support I'm getting. It's showing me that you guys are enjoying the content I'm putting out, so I'm going to continue to do so. Thank you all, and like always, stay safe.